Hello and welcome back to the page. It's Margarita month apparently. The guys over at Patrón have decided to extend Margarita Day on the 22nd of February this year for an entire month. I felt like obliging and jumping in. On this episode we're going to be making 3 really nice margarita riffs. Starting with the classic marg with some of the silver tequila from Patrón. Moving on to the Tommy's Margarita, which is a slight tweak on the classic. And finally, we're going to use the Añejo tequila to make a really bougie version of the Picante. 3 margaritas in probably about 10 minutes. What more could you ask for on a Monday? The first cocktail we're going to be making today is the classic margarita. Many people have different specs of this drink. I'm going to try and keep it as basic as possible and go for a 3 ingredient serve. You're more than welcome to serve this over ice if you want, but I like a drink served up nice in a coupe, so we're going to go for that instead. In terms of spec, as I said, people have got all manner of different margarita specs. I'm going for a real classic. 3 ingredients: tequila, triple sec and lime. That's it. First, you're going to need 30 ml of freshly squeezed lime juice. Always squeeze your limes fresh, otherwise it's not worth making these sour forward cocktails. It's not going to have the same power that you'd want if you bought shop-bought lime juice, believe it or not it does exist, or anything that's not got that real fresh zing to it. You can probably leave them for about a day or 2 if I'm being completely honest, but any longer than that and it's gonna lose the intensity that you want. The next ingredient we're going to be using is triple sec. Today I'm going with Cointreau. There's some other triple secs on the market, but for me you can't get much better. 30 ml of Cointreau. Now it's time for the tequila. As I said, we're going to be using one of each, the silver, Añejo and Reposado throughout the drinks today, but we're going classic, so we've got to go with the silver, or Blanco Patrón Tequila. Woo! 60 ml or 2 ounces of your Patrón Tequila. Add ice to your shaker tins and then give this a shake. Double strain this into a chill coupe. And there you have the very simple classic margarita. Yeah, it's not the first and it won't be the last classic marg I ever have. It's delicious. You may have noticed there's no salt rim on this drink. Feel free to do that. If you're gonna do it, I like to only do half the glass because then it gives the customer or whoever you're giving the drink to the option whether they want to have the salt with their sip. I personally do enjoy a salt rim, but on this occasion thought it's more about the power inside rather than the salt. Another option, which I've seen quite a few people do, is to add a few drops of 20% saline mix into the drink before you shake it. 3 to 4 will bring a little bit more of the agave note through on that tequila. It works really well with the aged tequilas. I've found, especially with the Añejo, a few drops of saline really brings out the nuances of the aged product. Next one we're going to be making is the Tommy's Margarita, in which we add extra agave to the mix. It's a beauty. The next cocktail that we're going to be making, as I said, is the Tommy's Margarita. Again, it's a 3 ingredient cocktail, but this time we're not going to be using the triple sec here. We're going to be using some agave syrup. You can buy a much better agave syrup. The reason I'm using this one, if I'm being completely honest, is a client sent it to us and I haven't used it yet, so nice one. The Tommy's Marg is a 1987 modern classic. It's 10 years before I was born anyway. We'll just call it a classic. It was made in a Mexican restaurant in San Francisco. And yeah, it's surprising that it took 50 years for someone to swap out the triple sec and add agave syrup to a already agave forward cocktail. We're going to be using the Reposado tequila on this one. I like having the Reposado with the Tommy's Margarita. A touch more age, a touch more barrel notes. With the added agave, it's going to make it really fun. Unlike the last one, which I served in a coupe, this time we're going to serve it down over a bit of ice and it's going to be delicious. Very excited, so let's get cracking. As with pretty much any margarita spec, you're going to need some lime juice, so 30 ml or 1 ounce of fresh lime juice. Next, instead of 30ml of triple sec like we saw in the classic, we're going to go for 30ml of agave syrup. Finally, 60ml or 2 ounces of your preferred tequila. As I said, we're going to use 60ml of the Patrón Reposado in this one. Add ice to your shaker and give that a shake. We chill our glassware around here, chilled rocks glass, or old fashioned, or double old fashioned, well, I don't even know what the rules are. Double strain this once again. To garnish, I'm just going to pop in a little dehydrated lime wheel. If you want fresh, go fresh, but dehydrated lasts longer. And there we have a Tommy's Margarita. Okay, oh, it's so much different from the classic. It's really interesting tasting them side by side, having that one previously and now this. The agave comes through a hell of a lot more. It's to be expected. Obviously you've added the agave syrup, but it's really, really nice. I like this more, I feel it's more balanced. The other is definitely power with the 90ml of 40% plus spirit usually. But yeah, this is softer, it's got more flavour to me. You lose out on the orange from the triple sec, but what you gain is this rich, deep, warm almost agave note. The earthiness is much more apparent in this. Also using the Reposado instead of the Blanco, you're going to get these more oaky barrel notes. I bet you this would be delicious with the Añejo as well, but it's a GP nightmare. Yeah, it's delicious. What can I say? The Tommy's Margarita, probably my favourite margarita, but I haven't had a Picante in a long while, and I think the Picante might edge you. The only way to find out is to carry on watching for the next 5 minutes. The third and final cocktail that we're going to be making today, again part of the Margarita family, is a riff on the Tommy's Marg. We've actually stepped up quite well through the years, and this one was made in the 2000s, in the turn of the century, in a place in Miami. I like a bit of spice to my drink, so I'm going to add 4 or 5 slices of chili when I make this, and a nice small handful of coriander. It's worth noting, if you don't love spicy drinks but you want to give this a try, add 1 slice of chili, add 2, it's really up to you. I'm going to add 3 slices or wheels of red chili into the shaker, along with a 4th, a 5th. And then we're going to add a small handful of coriander. As it's a riff on the Tommy's Marg, you'll not be surprised to know that there is an agave element in terms of agave syrup, not just the tequila. For this one, I'm going to add 15 to 20 ml, depending on your taste. I'll go for 22.5, we'll say 3/4 of an ounce. 30ml or 1 ounce of fresh lime juice to your tins. Now we've got our final ingredient. We've used the Silver / Blanco and the Reposado today, and now it's time for the Añejo. Much more age profile than the previous 2, slightly sweeter as well, something that's going to work really well in this drink. 60ml or 2 ounces, and no, I don't have a deal with Patrón yet. Add ice to your shaker and give this a shake. For this one, we're going to, once again, use a chilled rocks glass, but we've got a nice clear rock in there already. As you've got the chili and the coriander in here, it's imperative that you double strain, otherwise you're going to end up with chewy bits of leaf in your mouth and no one wants that. To garnish, I'm going to use this tiny little baby slice of chili just on top of the ice cube. And there you have it, the Picante. Let's give it a go. Oh wow. It's everything I love about the Tommy's, just with a touch more going on. The coriander, I'll be honest, I should have used a little bit more. I don't think the coriander comes through as much as I'd like it to. I'm a bit of a fiend for coriander though. I do love it. Actually, I've got a bit of coriander oil here. I'm just going to drop a few little drops on top to see if that elevates it a touch more. Again, completely optional. Oh wow. Wow. Even just 4 to 5 drops. I was lucky then, I tasted the drop with the sip. It's absolutely gorgeous. The chili tequila combo is something that you'll have probably seen many a time. The spicy marg is a very common riff that you may see, and many spicy tequila drinks exist. This elevates that, and using the Ineco honestly is a bit of a cheat code. The chilies, the coriander now with the oil, the fresh lime, the lower content of agave compared to what we used in the Tommies, it all plays really well. It's a delicately balanced cocktail with a lot of spice. It's delicious. It's so good. I implore you to give this one a go. I actually think going in the order we've made them today makes a lot of sense. Starting off with the classic, to know where everything began in the 1930s. Fast forwarding 50 years to the removal of the triple sec and addition of the agave syrup or agave nectar. And then ending with a really tasty, much more advanced cocktail in terms of flavours, but still just as delicately balanced. One thing that's interesting is seeing how the booze quantity in many ways drops over the years. We've now got this really tasty, sippable, just delight. It's a brilliant cocktail. It's one I'd highly recommend, and yeah. So there you have it, 3 really tasty margarita cocktails using Patrón, or if you're American, Patrón. It's a really brilliant spirit. I've used it many a time before, and although I'm not being paid to say this, it is probably the granddad of all tequila. It's the one that most bars use, and for good reason. We're lucky enough in this city to have quite a lot of Patrón influence at the minute. We've got a UK winner, Nay from Burnt Milk Hotel, is actually the Patrón Perfectionist UK champ, and he's going to go off to Mexico in May, so wish him all the best. Hopefully he comes back with a victory. And yeah, hopefully his cocktails are a lot better than these, although these were phenomenally good. In order, I'd have to say the Picante is now the first choice for me. The Tommies comes in a very close second, and the original Marg's fallen by the wayside slightly. It's a tasty drink, but it doesn't have as much going on as the other two. That's all we've got time for today. It's been an absolute pleasure. If you like what you see, feel free to drop a like on the video. And if you want to see more from us, feel free to consider subscribing too, and you can always hit that bell for notifications when new videos are uploaded. If you want to see more from me on a daily basis, you can always head over to Speakeasy UK on Instagram, where I'll be posting daily content, some like this and some not really like this at all. We've actually got a new course coming up soon that many of you may be interested in, so definitely head over to Instagram for that. But yeah, it's been an absolute pleasure. I hope you all enjoy Margarita. Cheers!